What up, everybody? What up? How's everybody doing today? I'm having a great day. A little bit up and down, positives and negatives. But I'll take positives all day, every day. I was a little late to start the stream today. I was slacking. I'm just gonna be honest, I was slacking. I didn't feel like it, but I pulled myself together. I've been doing it for 13 days. I'm not gonna stop doing it now. You know what I mean? So even if it's for half an hour, I'm gonna do it. And I do have something to show you guys, which I believe is pretty cool. If you remember from the day before in the stream, I had an idea to work on an app while Indra is offline for the moment, work on a different app and build a website for that. So I did build a website using some pretty cool animations and elements. It kind of is sick. 3JS, we have TSX, TypeScript, Next.js. We have a lot of elements, design, dynamics, and animation going on at the same time, which I had to go through a lot. I had to spend about 3 hours to settle on the output that I now like. There's a couple variations which I had liked, but finally I had settled with this one. It's really cool. I think it's pretty cool. So let me just show it to you, and I am preparing for something else. Since Indra is down, I thought to myself, hey, there's so many things going on, and if I could do so much just by prompting and not really understanding anything, even though I do understand most of it, I need to know the technicality of it too. If I do know, then I have an edge over any other regular prompter or whitecoder, you know what I mean? These are all built on foundations, some workflows, tools, protocols, which I don't have to be an expert in them, but if I do know what they are, how they work, and if I have simple projects just get my tippy toes wet, you know what I mean? That will give me a little bit of edge and knowledge, which will be very useful for me. And that's why I am planning on learning a little bit of context. Also, it'll be good on my resume when I apply for jobs, you know what I mean? And on interviews, I'm constantly seeing Gen AI jobs, and they pretty much ask for the same experience that I do have now currently. My experience currently is building agents, orchestrating them, connecting them, failure learning, feedback loops, and learning from the mistakes, compliance checks, cross-model verifications, testing, so many automated scripts that are being deployed, and so many tools and files being injected to each agent upon spawning them. Even before spawning them, they are injected at the time of spawn. So in most of this, technically they have a term which I'm not really, you know what I mean? They are the same but different. Exactly. So it's kind of like the same thing, and I am currently going through LangGraph, and I am using Cloud Code as my mentor and teacher, and trying to learn more about it. So this is going to be a pretty technical session today for a couple hours. learn everything in depth, then you spin up some demos and some projects, understand what they are, how they work, and stuff like that. But before I do that, and I go on my typical journey tonight, I will show you what the website looks like now. It's a Punadi website. Even you can access it. If you go to punadi.com, you can access the website. Now this is the school. When you first load or go to the website, the following is what you will see. I'll shut up. You see it for yourself. Tell me that's not cool. Tell me it ain't cool. That's the coolest website I have seen in a little bit. And I'm proud to say that I built it. I go down, got beautiful elements, transitions, roll in, a lot of pieces falling together. You can see a very elegant progress bar going on to the right side of the screen. And all of these are, you can interact with them in a sense. See that? And all of these as well. And just so you know, these are prototypes. I'm not sure if this will be the exact output or the exact app that we will be building. It's kind of an intro of what it is and how it's going to look like. You know what I mean? But everything has space, a lot of breathing room, nice colors. We have green, yellow, blue, and kind of like orangish, you know what I mean? Brownish orange. Pretty cool, I would say. And we have a little bit of emoji icons here. Foundation, structure, walls for bricks, roofs, homes, finishing, electrical, plumbing, paint, and we have the grid operations. Man, this is so cool. FAQs, which is elegant. I do have, well, 200 is the base, kind of made up number, and 1 is me signing up. So 201, we have 1 waitlist, which is myself. Pretty cool. I really like it. If you want to be notified when the app drops, you can go ahead and join the waitlist yourself. I pretty much want to refresh it and keep watching it. Every time. It's so cool. Every time. Wow, I'm feeling sleepy tonight. I'm feeling sleepy tonight. But let me check the screen quality. Screen quality is good. Nice, clean. Put it over there. This over here. This is the second time I gave the same prompt to ChatGPT, gave the same logo. And the first time I asked it, exactly the same logo. Second time, exactly the same logo. ChatGPT is pretty consistent. Mid-generation is pretty consistent. There you go. Well, now I'm gonna start learning some technical stuff. If you want to follow along, you're more than welcome. If not, do what you want to do. Do with it what you wish. Okay. Language. 5 concepts you need to know. State graph. A code object. It's a directed graph where nodes are functions, edges are connections. Your Indra pipeline is the same concept. You just built it with shell scripts and factory state.json instead of LangGraphs API. I had pizza. It's not. I don't want. Oh yeah. My body is falling apart. That pizza did not do any good to me. That pizza did not do any good to me. Is Indra back online? Is the API credit, usage limits refreshed? State graph. State, we have a graph. A state graph is the core object. It's a directed graph. It's a directed graph, meaning where nodes are functions, and edges are connections. Edges are connections. Edges are connections. Okay. Indra pipeline is the same concept. State graph. Line graph. And when you talk about line graph, we talk about state graph. dictionary. So it's dictionary, typed dictionary. Right? A shared dictionary that flows between all nodes. I still got some time left. Around 1 tomorrow, Indra will be back online. Okay, that is what it takes. That's what it takes, I guess. It's a typed dictionary, so it's kind of like a shared dictionary that flows between all nodes. Dictionary. It's a shared dictionary that flows between all nodes. Okay, same concept. Every agent reads from it and writes to it. Hello? Isn't that what I'm doing? Like the factory state.json. In your Indra system, this is factory state.json. Same idea, different implementation, meaning I am already doing it. This is pretty much like done. Nodes. Coming to nodes. What are nodes? Functions that take state and return updated state. It's like my agent. Nodes are functions that take state, which is the shared dictionary, and return an updated state. Wow. So each node is an agent. Bro, I'm so glad I had built the pipeline and spent more than 2 weeks building it up. These concepts, I can relate to what they are, how they work, because I have done it. I know how they work. I have so many files, so many agents, so many workflows, so many automation scripts, so many learning files. Man, I'm cool. And what else? And each node is an agent, and node is nothing but a function. An agent is nothing but a function. It does certain things. My researcher.md, builder.md, tester.md templates are the same concept. Each role has a specific job with specific inputs and outputs. Meaning, a function has specific inputs, specific outputs. So does my agents. They have specific inputs, and I'm expecting specific outputs from those agents. That is a node. That is a function. That is an agent. like that, I know three concepts: state graph, state, node. State graph is a directed graph where nodes are functions and edges are connections, similar to my Indra pipeline. But I built it with shell scripts and factory state.json instead of LangGraphs API. And what else is inside LangGraph? We have state, which is a typed dictionary, which is also known as, you can also call it a shared dictionary, meaning it flows between all of the nodes, like a shared directory, so the nodes read from it and write to it. Meaning, in this case, a node is a function, an agent. An agent is a function, and a function is a node. So what does an agent do? Reads from the state and writes to the state. In our case, state is factory state.json. I named it factory state.json. Same idea, different implementation. What is it? A node. A node reads from the state and returns an updated state. What is a node? When you think about it, it's an agent. What does an agent do? It reads from the state or the file and writes to it. Or it takes the file and returns the updated file. And nodes are also what? Functions. Functions that take state and return updated state. Each node is an agent. Each agent is a function. Each function is a node. Each node is a state. Each node is an agent. So all of my researcher, builder, tester, shipper, scouter are all agents, nodes, functions. They're all templates that I built, and these are all the same concept as a node. Each role has a specific input and specific output. Specific job with specific inputs and outputs. This book is running out. Let's talk about edges. We talked about nodes. Let's also talk about edges. Edges are nothing but connections, right? And what happens to these? They are connections between nodes. Connection between nodes, right? So add underscore edge means researcher always goes to writer. Simple. So for example, if I say add edge, meaning I'm making a connection here. Connection between who? Nodes. And in this case, I'm making connection between my researcher node and my writer node. This means researcher always goes to writing. Simple. That's all it is. Add underscore edge, parenthesis, researcher, comma, writer. They go from left to right. They follow this direction, left to right. So if you have writer to researcher, writer always goes to research. Because you had researcher and writer, researcher always goes to writer. Simple. That's it. Edges are connections between nodes. inputs and outputs. That's an edge. That's an edge. We have conditional edges. Conditional edges, meaning this is the key feature. How? This is key feature. The reviewer node can route to either writer or end approve. This is what makes it a graph, not a chain, but a graph. In this case, what is a graph? Is it going like this graph or that graph? Chain is nothing but linear. Graph can go anywhere, yes. So edges are connections between nodes. Conditional edges is a key feature. Key feature, right? For example, the reviewer node in our scenario can route to either writer, which means to say not approve, revise, or I could say end, meaning approved. This is what makes it a graph, not a chain. In your India system, this is like route tiers deciding retry versus escalate. Example, the reviewer node can route to writer, revise, or end approve. Know what I mean? Either write or end approve. This is what makes the graph. A graph, not a chain. Okay. In my system, in your system, routes tiers is similar to what this is because they're deciding either retry versus escalate. You know what I mean? Okay. So far we got inline graph. We covered 5 concepts: state graph, state, nodes, edges, conditional edges. State graph is a directed graph where it's a directed graph. It's being directed. It's a directed graph where nodes are functions, meaning they're agents, and edges are connections. Simple. In my Indra pipeline, we have same concept, but we built it using shell scripts and MD files. Shell scripts and factory state.json instead of lang graph API. Similar concept but different implementation. Coming to my state, which is type dictionary. It is a shared dictionary where nodes, it flows between all the nodes, okay? That flows between all the nodes. Mama is calling, I gotta go. It was a small session again today, but